So this is a cute little dog here. She's actually like quite a good sized dog with really short legs. So she looks like a small dog, but in reality she's actually big, kind of a big strong dog. She's got pretty well established muscles and she's pretty athletic. The owners thought she was kind of like a corgi, maybe mixed with a pit bull or a lab. But anyway, I'd spent a little bit of time walking with her, nothing fancy. And the main issue that her owners were having was that they had a young kid who had a lot of friends coming around. They were always riding bikes and skateboards. And this dog right here, I think she's maybe about 11 months old. She was wanting to basically bite and attack the wheels of whatever was rolling by, whether it was a skateboard or a bike. So I was able to help her not do that, and here's how we did it. This is the first time that I've worked with her. It was really kind of like the only time that I really needed to, and I'm gonna just show you from start to finish what we did. So this is her first time on a walk with me with a skateboard, and I had just finished building up this longboard. I was stoked, so I decided that I wanted to use the longboard instead of a bicycle for a couple different reasons. Her safety, my safety, and just the overall pace of it. I was able to mount and dismount from a longboard way easier than a bike, so I was able to transition back and forth and make things more clear for her. So she kind of is amped up. She knows something's going on, and this is not going to be just like a normal walk. The board is, she's already wanting to kind of go for the wheels, and I'm just like communicating with her not to do that. And here's right where I start riding the board, and I'm just basically, she's trying to dive bomb it the whole time, and I've got my right arm stretched out straight with enough tension on the leash that when she goes for the board, I just kind of, there's not enough space on the leash for her to actually get to the wheels. So I'm doing it slow. Here we get a little bit of momentum. The faster that I can get rolling on this board, the more she'll be focused on moving forward and keeping pace with me, as opposed to like trying to like be sidetracked with the wheels. So here we go. We got a little bit of forward momentum here. I'm letting her get a little bit in front, but I don't want her to cut me off, so I'm kind of trying to keep up with her. And we're just rolling here for a minute, and I'm giving her verbal corrections to not go for the wheels, because basically she's like pretty much trying to get the wheels the whole time. So that was a little session here, and we stopped because we're coming up on a park. I didn't want to like turn it into a battle with her, and I just wanted to shift gears to make sure she wasn't getting like super duper amped up. So she can hear a bunch of sounds. There was some kids playing and stuff, so I just wanted to kind of like recalibrate her. She's definitely focused on the park scene that we're getting ready to go into. There were some kids playing like soccer, and so she's definitely super amped up, and I'm using that for good, like taking advantage of that. So you can see I'm just kind of redirecting her and letting her know like, hey, we're doing this together. I want her to be focused on her and my communication more than any other thing that's going on. So here I jump back on the board, we start rolling. She's kind of really not sure what's going on, but she's sort of getting the picture. That, see, like right there, I just gave her a little correction when she went for the front wheel, and she's like, okay, I'll just roll with you then. She's definitely wanting to go for the wheels, but she's cooperating with me somewhat. So now we get up into the actual park, and we're basically rolling through. There was a soccer ball there. There's like a skateboard on the ground there, and there's a bunch of kids running around making some noise and stuff, and it's just a happy, nice evening at the park. So she's kind of thinking about that, so we just keep rolling and moving forward. I'm just kind of letting her do her thing. She's distracted by the smells and stuff. We're going to stop up here, and she's going to do a little bit of a potty break. So the main thing that you really want to focus on when you're trying to change a dog's behavior is not really tripping out on the behavior itself. Meaning, like, when I went and did this training session with her, I wasn't trying to get her to not attack the skateboard. I was just focusing on her state of mind. See, she's taking a potty right here. And I was just trying to get her to understand that we're sharing this experience together, and it's no fun to share the experience with her if she's trying to attack the skateboard wheels the whole time. So that was kind of like my mindset, and I just used my body language, my tone of voice, my praise and corrections to just convey that to her, like, hey, let's just, go have fun together here, and that's like what I do with all dogs. Is I seek to meet them at a level where they can sense in a real organic way that they're participating in something that's cooperative, that they're not being forced to do something that they don't want to do, that they're not being messed with by someone who's got, an agenda or is too busy looking at their clock to really invest in the actual present moment. My goal with working with dogs is to establish that communication with them so that they understand, like, that they're a respected member of this exercise, whatever we're doing, whether it's learning how, she's taking a poop here, that whatever we're doing, whether it's walking together, playing, riding the skateboard, that we're doing it together. And I really, when I really establish that mental connection with the dog, then all that bad behavior goes away. And then I teach the owner how to relate to their dog with that level of healthy expectation combined with organic just presence and direct communication that's non-dramatic, and then they can happily create that same dynamic with their dog. It's a non-traditional method. So you can see here, she did her potty thing, the kids kind of went away, I think, dinner time or whatever, and I'm just getting her back on, used to the board a little bit here, and you can see she's definitely going right back into it, because this kind of stuff, they have to have repetitions, and that's what I'm doing with her. She's definitely wanting to go for it, so we're getting ready to head out of the park onto the street here. And you'll see in a minute here that she kind of is taking a little bit too far, and I'm not wanting to turn it into a battle. I never want to turn things into a battle with the dog, because I might get the desired behavior, but I'm not going to get the desired mindset. And my goal is to get the desired mindset, because if I'm out here training the dog and I can get the desired behavior but it doesn't change their mind, well, when they go home, they're just going to revert back to the undesired behavior. So here, now that we get out on the street, she's definitely going kind of like wanting to really make this her game. And first of all, I don't want her to get hurt. And second of all, there's a point here that you won't be able to hear where she actually vocalizes. She gives like a loud bark at the skateboard, and that's when I was like, okay, we need to shift gears. She just did it. I stopped the board. See, she barked again at the board. And basically what we're doing here is she's trying to get me to play the game that she wants to play, and I know that if I play that game with her, it won't be helpful to her. So I have to have a stable, calm presence to say to her in her language, we don't want to play that game, but I'm doing it in a very cooperative way. Notice I didn't scold her when she barked at the board. I just stopped giving her the opportunity to continue to play that game, and I started to communicate to her, look, let's do this in the way that I want to do it, and we can still both have fun. So you'll see here I shifted gears, I turned it down a notch, got her a little bit calmer, and now I'm just kind of kicking the board in front of me while I communicate with her through the leash and my presence. that she just wants to walk by the board, not attack it. So I just turned the board there. That's why I kicked the back end out. It looked like maybe I was aiming the board at her, but I wasn't. I was just re-angling it so it could turn here, because we're going back into the park. And you'll see here in a minute, now that I've got her state of mind calm again, I'll just get back on the board and start riding it. No big deal. And because I was willing to take the time to just connect with her in a relational way, instead of trying to like scold her or be all dominant or whatever, then her brain absorbs it so much more thoroughly. So now, and this is the reason why I had her harness on, because I figured once she gets the hang of how fun it is to ride the skateboard without wanting to attack it, I kind of got the feeling that she was going to be happy and want to actually pull, which is what she's doing right here. Which is, see, you can see like a mental shift occur, like, oh, we can have fun on the skateboard without me attacking the wheels. And I let her pull, but I don't want her to pull me around because I don't want her to get injured. I mean, she only weighed like 35 pounds or something, so. But nonetheless, it's that whole dynamic of turning into a cooperative team activity. And when the dog really feels like they're actually really part of it, then they want to learn, and that's when the real learning happens. If I was to just try and do this from a total trainer standpoint, where I was like not focused on building the relationship so that she would actually really understand it, then it wouldn't last. I had to do this one time, and then her owners had to follow through a couple times with some reminders, and then her kid was able to ride the skateboard around and have their friends come over on bikes and roll up to the house on their bicycle without the dog going and trying to get almost run over by the front wheel and make the kid fall off the bike. Just when you teach the dog how to do things in a cooperative way, it makes sense to the dog, and then that's how they are. But when if you try and force them or bribe them with treats, a lot of times when the treats aren't there, or there's a better motivator in their other thoughts, then they don't really want to participate in that same cooperation with you, because it's not based on cooperation, it's based on being told what to do. So I needed to basically show her that it was going to be just as fun to ride around on the skateboard without attacking it as it was to attack the skateboard, and it was actually more fun. So here we are, we're just kind of heading back home. With something like this, where I'm going to be asking a lot of the dog and giving the dog some exercise as well, but really trying to really create a whole new dynamic for how the dog relates to something like a skateboard or bike, it's better to not drag it out for super duper long. Like, we did this for like 10 minutes, and then that was about it. And then we took right about here is where I stopped riding. The pavement started to get all grainy anyway and stuff, and give her a little last burst of fun, and then we just walked home the rest of the way. I was kicking the skateboard, and just to give her, just to get her used to it. It's like, hey, skateboard, no big deal. And that's about it. So this is about where we stopped, and that's the main thing to keep in mind when you're training your dog to not attack a skateboard or not do anything that you don't want it to do, is to focus on the relationship with the dog and actual communication and their state of mind, and then the behavior will change. I hope you enjoyed the video and that it was helpful. Thanks for watching.